The
He hasn't
whiskey-
tweeted.
oh,
He set it up in
No,
2009,
most
hasn't
people don't
tweeted.
know where that comes
Where
from.
Whiskey Mist comes
Yeah.
from?
I don't
Well, now you
either,
can
but
lay
it's-
claim to it, though. Now it's pretty much yours.
Well, I hope so. I don't
coming in
remember
here, you
who
can-
Fun
said
to
it.
say, though.
Well, I can't remember where I read it. I think just somebody wrote this in like sort of a pamphlet for an upcoming Michael McDonald concert. It was something like
You're reading pamphlets on an upcoming Michael McDonald concert?
You don't?
I think that's the part I was kind of stuck
well,
on
listen,
right
this
there.
is
but
back
okay.
back when you learned about a concert coming to town because
From a
there was like,
pamphlet?
well, I don't know if it was a pamphlet or a flyer.
It's a flyer
We
after
call it a
church.
flyer.
There's
It's
ones
all the
that's like,
same.
yeah, the Safari, the
Maybe
upcoming
it-
Michael McDonald
Maybe it was in a
concert.
newspaper. You remember those kids? No,
Yeah.
you don't. Anyway, so no, the writer
We have several in our kitchen right now.
the writer
I think.
said if Mel Torme is the Velvet Fog, which was what he
Sure.
was known at, then you would have to call Michael McDonald the Whiskey Mist, and so it's just been with me ever since.
That's
Bedtime.
incredible.
So it was somebody else's genius that came up with it. I'm just the one who is utilizing it.
You're capitalizing
Unlike
on it.
Mr. at Whiskey Mist on Twitter, I would like to put a shout out to that Yahoo who is not repping Whiskey Mist properly.
Yes, it's true. All right, attention at Whiskey Mist. You have been called out here by Caleb.
Only Mark Hoppus can save you.
Apparently.
Because I don't think Stephen
You're
Fry's going to
doomed.
help.
All right, are we coming in live here? It looks like. Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. You may have found out about our show from a flyer that you received outside somewhere. But thank you for joining us. It's our roundtable podcast.
It's a pamphlet, man.
Door to door, putting it on their handles. Listen to Trends with
Do we
Benefits.
get the really cool shirts, that, like the white shirts? That,
Yeah,
With
right?
the short white
Short
button
sleeves,
down.
yep.
and
We'll have to
slim
Do you have a
piano
moment to
tie.
talk about Trends with Benefits?
All right, we're coming in live. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you to everybody who's joining us as you're rolling in here to the chaos that is this show. We've got a bunch of things that we're going to be talking about today. And we want you to join us, to join the conversation. Let us know your thoughts. We have several different things we're going to get to. We've got electric aircraft. We've got some bionic contact lenses in the news right now for some tech topics. And first off, we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Xbox Project Scorpio, which you've probably seen in the question right there at the top of, is this going to be the next huge video game console? And we're also going to talk about Comcast, a few other things. I'm your host, Greg Nibbler, and let's introduce the panel here. To my right.
Adrian Warner, producer for Digital Trends.
And we don't have a radio name for you yet. We don't have a handle yet. So it's going to have to happen at some point.
Give me until the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. I'm Rick Stella. I'm the outdoor associate editor here for DT.
Excellent. And down on the end, the man himself.
The real Whiskey Mist.
You go use that on Twitter.
Yeah.
The real
I'll
Whiskey
be at the
Mist.
real Whiskey
Oh,
Mist.
there it is. That's
And then
how
you
you
can
combat
get the
that.
verified.
But isn't that
Yep.
what you do when you're not really the real something? I mean, it sucks when you have to do that. You're basically admitting that
glaring
somebody was smarter and
example. Right.
faster than you when
Well, like
Twitter
Scott
came
Van
out.
Pelt on ESPN, his is like not the fake SPP.
Hey,
There is a glaring example of somebody who uses real in their Twitter handle that I could bring up right
Yeah,
now. I think
we
you could
don't
probably
need to go
figure that
there.
out. All right, so let's talk about Project Scorpio. All right, so
Jump right in.
Xbox, Microsoft finally came out. You know, we've been hearing about Project Scorpio with that code name for it for a long time. It's going to be the new Xbox console. It was supposed to, they've been really secretive about it. Things have kind of leaked out about what it's going to be. Is it going to be a complete game changer? And now we finally have some more info on what's going on with it. And we're going to find out a lot more in a couple of months at E3. But they did come out with some more information. It looks like it is going to be a pretty souped-up machine. I mean, it's going to, let's see, I'm going to read through some of the statistics here just on it. Because there's a group called Digital Foundry. How they got this invite, I don't know. But they got to actually go and try it out and played a game on it and everything. It's a European website that got into this thing. So the new Scorpio. Here's what we know so far. It's going to have 4K, so it will be capable of 4K gaming, which we kind of expected.
with HDR.
With HDR. It's going to have a Blu-ray 4K UHD player in it. It's going to have a much bigger, a lot bigger RAM. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the
Bigger
statistics right
RAM.
now. Bigger RAM.
I've got
Wow.
the
Bigger RAM.
biggest RAM.
Wow, that RAM is really
Big
huge.
RAM. Many people have said it's huge
you have
RAM.
more
God.
I
RAM,
only
not
like
big
big
RAM.
RAM.
Yeah, big RAM. Real big
You know
RAM.
what they say about consoles with big controllers? They got big RAM.
It's just going to be one of those shows. So there's a lot.
It's the RAM is kind of small, but it's really effective.
But it's
It
a
is,
very
yeah.
effective
It's not,
RAM.
it's not how big the RAM
It's
is,
not
it's
the
how well you
size.
use it,
That's
you
right.
know? Yeah.
All right, here we go. Finally, I got to pull up. Trying to
Wait,
bail
wait.
myself out.
It does
more.
6 teraflops,
6 teraflops.
which is, why you need the big RAM.
It supports,
Yeah.
it supports 4K resolution, estimated to hold 60 frames per second. And the demonstration, actually, the video that we did see, it was playing the game at 60 frames per second at 4K resolution, which is really impressive.
What game was it? What were they showing
Project Forza.
Oh, okay.
Forza,
Okay.
so it's a racing game,
Right.
Yeah, that they had on there. And what I'm curious is, because I'm seeing that people are strolling in here into the comments, and whether or not this is enough to interest you, whether or not you're ready to go for this. Jan says Scorpio is do or die. Already PlayStation shaming Xbox One on graphics. It's time to get even. So saying that they really do have to bring it, and that's true. They really do have to try to compete against PlayStation right now, because I think a lot of it is going to be there's so many games that are out there for PlayStation
Yep.
that can Xbox come back and compete
Like
with it?
exclusives and stuff. Because
Yeah.
is it way more powerful than the PS4 Pro?
It's a lot more powerful.
Because the PS4 Pro does 4K and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of 4K capable games that people are going to enjoy with it.
That's true. There's not a lot of 4K capable games, so they're going to make it so you can still play at 1080p, but also at 4K
Right.
is what Xbox wants to do. Adrian, what do you think about this?
I've never been a big Xbox fan, so
Yeah.
this
And that's-
is kind of exciting because to see something that's really capable, where I don't have to make where anytime a big box game that comes out that's on both PS4 or Sony and Xbox, I always go for Sony. So maybe this would be the thing to change my mind, but
Yeah.
probably not.
But right now, yeah, or is it enough to make you switch? Yeah, to what
I
you
don't
want
know.
to do.
I guess it just depends on what third-party developers do with that 4K and if they can do anything with it at the moment. And yeah,
I used to only have Xbox, and then Sony got me with all of the exclusives a few years ago, and I can't even imagine getting an Xbox One now. So the same thing with you. They'd have to do something really crazy to get me away from my PlayStation.
Seeing some of the comments come in. So Joaquim says, guys and girls, you really have to point out that the built-in DX12 in the Scorpio, because that is going to do some real voodoo for Scorpio, and also that Digital Foundry, to give fair credit to them, because they did actually get the exclusive on this, is a tech website for comparing tech games and consoles. Gamers trust them, so that's why. So it's a gaming, mostly sounds like website. So good for them. For getting that exclusive. I
Okay,
mean,
guys. Anyways,
good for them.
jealous.
Yeah, totally, completely jealous. So Martin is saying, but Microsoft already has PC. Why do they need a console? And that's true. They do kind of have they've got the market on
that's
PC
a
console
gaming.
gamers.
That's
though.
a crazy question.
Yeah.
I'll leap in here because
Okay.
the first thing I wanted to say about the Scorpio is that it is interesting. Consoles have always kind of been a little behind PCs in
Yeah.
terms of
Almost a
their-
lot behind, I would
Yeah,
say.
I mean,
Always.
in terms of their total graphics capabilities and just how deep that can go, shadow detail, lots of really rich graphic elements, right?
And you can't upgrade them or anything.
And yeah, they're scalable. You can kind of decide just how involved you want to get into the graphics capabilities, the frame rate, all that good stuff. The consoles have never been anywhere close to that powerful.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting question. If it's basically just a purpose-built PC in the shape of a game console, with admittedly a whole bunch of really great media capabilities too. It's an all-in-wonder box, right?
Yeah.
It's for people who don't also want to type emails and work in WordPress and do Photoshop. I just want to play games, but I want to play the best games, the most amazing games, right?
Big games.
So I mean,
Still Sony.
It's possible
Yeah.
that maybe Scorpio would be capable of playing stuff that was built for Windows, but then it also is capable of supporting its own native format.
Right.
That would be amazing. Let's see what happens when we get more information at E3. But here's the bottom line. Developers, remember when the Xbox One and PS4 first came out, and they talked about all these crazy tech things like threads and stuff like that. It took a while for the developers to figure out how to use all that horsepower, right?
Right.
They're not used to being able to. It's not like their hands were tied and said, only if we had 15 more threads or whatever. They're just they're chasing the technology with their game development capability. And so we're landing right back into the whole games argument. Unless developers are we love this platform a ton and we can't wait to make games for it and maximize this platform's capability, yeah, that it doesn't do any good. It's not gonna hurt the PlayStation any, because
Right.
at the end of the day, people want to play the best games, and whoever has all the good games is gonna get the customers. And right now, PlayStation's absolutely killing it, and I don't think the Scorpio is set up to do that because its technological its souped up specs are actually a liability. They're not necessarily like a benefit.
You think developers aren't going to want to bother going down
I don't
that
know
road?
I don't know if it's a matter of want. I don't know if it's a matter of time. Like if it takes them, unless they were given the keys to this thing a long time ago, and developers have
Which
been able to
maybe.
start working with this,
Yeah.
what we're looking at like a 1 to maybe even 2 year lead time before games that really take full advantage of its horsepower are out there. And
Yeah,
that could
and
be
also you
the
have to have-
death. That could be the
Yeah.
death of this
Yeah, it
thing.
could.
You also
It
have to have a
already takes-
television that takes advantage of it
Yes.
too.
Right.
A lot of people don't have 4K televisions.
Fortunately, more and more 4K TVs are coming out there. Almost all the decent TVs coming out in 2017 are both 4K and HDR. You're not really buying 1080p TVs anymore unless you buy the El Cheapo special down at Target. You know what I mean? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's what you
Yeah.
put in your kitchen or your bedroom or whatever. But yeah, I mean, obviously, this is for advanced users and people who like early adopt everything.
Yeah. Adrian, you had something you wanted to say about that too.
Oh, I was just saying that for these big box games that they already take so much longer to make and get in your hands
Right.
that like what is the point if there's already going to be that hurdle and like
Yeah,
that choke
that
point
hurdle
for
over
them.
it. And cost is being brought up in here too. And we don't know what the cost is going to be, but I suspect more than what the PlayStation was. I'm going to guess 500.
I was say
or
it'll be
higher.
close to 500. I'm sure when
Yeah.
it launches.
Dude, I think it has to be more. I mean,
Yeah.
look, the Xbox One S is still going to stick around, right? And so if that's still going to be a product for Microsoft, they can't have the Scorpio
Here's
be
a
priced
video
so
we got.
closely that it
Right.
cannibalizes the other system.
Right.
Or you can't have one cannibalize the other.
And it's almost unfortunate they're using Forza, and I know the Forza franchise is great for Microsoft, but it's like Sony has
getting
Gran
old.
Turismo, and it's also getting old, right?
Yeah.
That it's like if you're gonna pull somebody aside from Sony, that it's like, well, I have Gran Turismo, and they'll make another one, and it'll blow me away like it always does. And I don't know, I just like that. You'd think that they would try to have something really unique to draw somebody away outside of just like, hey, we can race cars in 4K, you know?
Yeah.
What if the Scorpio does VR gaming better than anything out
It
there?
talked
it
about
might.
that, yeah.
That horsepower is needed
that's
for VR
not
gaming.
verified, but that there is talks of that going on, and yeah.
Yeah, and that's what, let's see, Joe here on YouTube says, I own a PS4, but as of right now, I want to switch over to Scorpio just because they have exclusive games right now, so the exclusive ones that Microsoft does have. So maybe that is enough. Maybe, is it powerful enough, their exclusives?
Our
I mean, what,
producer's shaking his
Halo?
head.
Yeah.
Destiny maybe is, or no, it's on both. What would be like a big Halo,
Halo,
I guess,
yeah.
if they come out
Halo.
with another one?
Yeah,
Well,
which
what
I
did
think
the
you have
Another
a
Halo
game.
game?
Yeah, but what did the Xbox One S have since it came out? Really, Halo Wars.
Yeah,
That's it.
honestly, I
And
don't.
Forza.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Forza, if that's
That's
really
getting
what
old,
you want.
right? I don't know. I mean, if you have fanboys that are really into that stuff, that's awesome. I'm just,
I mean, for me at this point, to invest that much money, I want something that's going to do everything.
Yeah.
Video game system,
Right.
stream all of my television, have cable in it, have it be the router for my house, have it be a Google Home.
Greg
or
wants an
Alexa.
all-in-one or
I want
nothing. Yeah.
everything.
The
One
thing is,
box,
the Xbox One S pretty much does that.
$1,000, and then I
Right.
never have to
So
buy
as a
anything else.
PlayStation, you have
Yeah.
these all-in-one
That-
boxes already that do
Yeah.
a lot. And it's just, I mean, it's just power. And maybe the VR is like their ace in the hole, that it's going to be able to be way better than PlayStation VR is. But
we do have an op-ed going up on Digital Trends right now, actually talking about why it's games, not performance and specs, that's really going to spell the success or demise for the Scorpio. So check that out when you get a second.
Yeah.
Gabe Gerwin wrote it. It's got a lot of interesting insights that we just don't have time to cover here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. So yeah, go to digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at a bunch of stuff that we've got. There's several different things kind of updating as the rumors come out. And again, we'll find out more. I mean, these aren't really rumors, but we'll find out more at E3 is when they're really going to reveal it. Probably get a
they'll
release
need
date.
to bring games, though. That they're going to
They'll
have
need
to bring games.
and I think they're going to have to. It's going to have to be November that it's released. I mean, I would think if you wait past
Holiday, yeah.
past that season, I don't
That
know.
actually just seems quick to me because there's like very little known about it. That if it's going to come
Yeah.
out in 7 months or whatever, that
Or
is,
they're
like,
wait until next spring. I don't know. Yeah, and, again, a lot of people are saying how much is it going to cost. We don't know. We're speculating. They haven't released it, but probably a lot. I think that's safe to say. All right, we need to get on to some other topics here too, because we have a bunch of stuff that we want to get to, and we're really enjoying everybody dropping their opinions in here on Facebook and YouTube. So keep that going. We've got some things to get to, some bionic contact lenses I want to talk about, some electric aircraft,
McDLT.
the McDLT, obviously a hot topic for the Whiskey
Yeah.
Mist. So before
So techie, just really futuristic, and
before we get to that, let's talk about some more rumors that are out. It's the iPhone. Every week there is another rumor about the iPhone. We still don't even know what to call that, whether it's going to be the iPhone 8 or the iPhone 10, the iPhone X. The latest one was the iPhone Edition, which is a dumb name if you ask me. I think that's a terrible name.
Like New Edition? Like
I guess
the boy band?
I think so. That's pretty much what we're going for. Yeah, New Edition.
Good
God, I
morning,
can't remember what
Louie.
they
How about
say.
iPhone Beyond?
yeah,
iPhone
right.
Beyond. There you go. Yeah, maybe you can.
iPhone next.
If you're watching live, give us the name you think that the iPhone should have, the newest one. But so we got some new renderings, some potential renderings that people have. We do know that they've placed an order with Samsung for potentially
like a
up
face.
to 95 million curved OLED panels for phones. 95 million is the order they placed with Samsung.
Wow.
To
They
get
placed it
these.
with Samsung, huh?
Samsung.
We're sure about that?
That's the rumor.
Oh, it's a rumor. Oh, yeah.
Are you saying no? Is that you're saying
An
no?
inside source.
Perhaps somebody in this room knows something that I don't. It's a report from Nikkei. Nikkei.
yeah.
They're claiming Apple. That's right. It's a claim that Apple placed an order for 70 million OLED panels from Samsung. And
they may
according
well
to the
have done that.
publication, that Samsung will be the sole producer of screens for the device, and they attribute the news to one of Apple's suppliers and says Samsung could be on the hook to produce as many as 95 million.
Why
So
that's
that's
not
their
fishy to
report.
No, it's just that I know that there was another vendor that was really wanting to be the supplier.
Well, and it's possible that this isn't true. It's at least a reputable source, but yeah, they're saying that's
Those are some big numbers. To
Huge numbers.
Rumorize, but
Yeah.
let's rein it in. I'm just saying that I believe I saw a prototype of the new iPhone.
It's true.
By accident at CES, and perhaps it was a proof of concept from a display manufacturer trying to offer that OLED display. But what I will say is, if it looks anything like what this thing I saw looked like, it's going to be gorgeous, and everybody's going to want it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a big deal. That's an OLED
Edge
screen.
glass, right?
Yeah.
So-
And I don't know how futuristic Apple's going to be. They're usually way behind on like 4K and HDR and stuff like that. So I'm not.
They've gotta-
optimistic that it's going to have that kind of stuff like the Samsung S8 does. But
don't they have to though in order to compete with that? I guess it
I
is.
don't even
iPhone.
think they do.
They're still going to sell, what they're.
well,
What
first
they-
of all, they'll call
they
it
have the
Retina instead of what it really is, which is
Right.
a display standard. And who knows? Maybe it'll be 5K on your phone. I don't know. What I do know is that it's probably going to be gorgeous. It's probably going to be an amazing phone. A nice big leap like we haven't seen in a long time for the iPhone.
And they're going to sell more than they ever have before, like they
Yep.
always do. You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Even if they go up to $1,000, which is
Oh,
what the rumors were.
absolutely.
Okay.
They took out a headphone jack and charged $800 for it, and people went gangbusters.
A couple of people coming up with potential names for the new iPhone. Their speculation: the iPhone Extortion. That's
good.
Tony. iPhone Home. A couple of different ideas. iPhone. I like
The iPhone
Home.
ET.
Yeah.
iPhone Home.
The
That's
iPhone.
really good. And then iPhone Anniversary Edition. There other part of the rumors that maybe the release date might be pushed back to November or December. That's another speculation. Again, these are all technically rumors
know in
that we're
September.
seeing. Yeah, we'll know in September whether or not it's going to be out. But these things will never stop. Every week there's going to be another iPhone rumor as far as something that
There are
happens.
iPhone rumors the week after they announce for the next iPhone.
There are people that make their entire careers. I think,
Yeah.
off of
Nine?
just-
yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
God.
oh my
iPhone
gosh, what's the
rumors.
next one going to have? The other one's already old news.
But I feel like we have to bring it up because everybody's always curious what's going to happen with that. Let's go to something else that's not a rumor, and this is Comcast, everyone's most favorite company
Hey.
of all time. Comcast. I personally just spent 2.5 hours over the last week with Comcast customer service.
And it
on
was
some issues.
splendid, wasn't it?
Splendid. Everything was resolved
Nice.
perfectly. It was
Bill
not.
was cheaper, and
Nope. But
And you spoke to a person in the U.S. who had real concern for your needs.
spoke to 4 different ones, and one guy was in Seattle. So
Oh,
yes,
all
technically
right.
there was one guy.
so
At least
he
he said he was in Seattle.
Are you on their preferred customer list?
No.
Oh.
Oh, is that a
You gotta
thing?
get. You gotta.
How do you
get
do
it.
that?
just be with them for a long time?
I have been with them for a long time.
Well, then you need to.
Because I had no choice.
You should
'cause they were
lead
the only
with
ones
it.
in the
Do you
neighborhood.
Put me
pay
on
for
that
it like
preferred
early
list.
boarding?
Wouldn't that be great if you could just like
TSA
pray
pre-check, pay for it? Yeah.
Exactly. Preferred access.
Since they do have such good customer service, this is one thing that they're really
Speaking
pushing
of.
on their new service that they announced. So Comcast is getting into the mobile telephone game, the mobile service game, excuse me, and. So I'm kind of curious if this is enough for anybody to switch over. So they're going to launch it. It's going to be called Xfinity Mobile, and it's originally going to be just for people who are already Comcast customers. They're going to use Verizon's actual cell service. It's going to start at $65 a month for Comcast customers. If you're an X1, like the top X1 TV package, I guess you get it for $45 a line, but generally $65 a month using Verizon's cell service. And then they're going to try to really push you to their hotspots whenever you can and just make the phone switch over onto the hotspots, to the Wi-Fi hotspots that they have all over the place. And they said one of the big things they're pushing is that they're going to have great, high level of customer service.
It's gonna be tremendous.
Tremendous customer service, the best customer service. It's the best that you've ever seen. Many people said. So it's
Gonna be big customer
Huge.
service,
Huge
huge.
customer service.
We could do this all
I've
day.
had people say, yeah, it's the best.
But yeah, so they're saying their customer service is going to be amazing, and that you can talk to them via text and quote other means. Which, quite honestly, if I have to contact customer service, there's already a problem.
Right.
So I don't.
Well,
I
it's
want
gonna
it to be
It's
good.
gonna be
but-
amazing once you get there. You never
Right.
know, or
The
so they
customer
say.
service
Right.
will be great. $65 a month. At this point, is that enough to make you switch over if you could do this?
No.
I will never give them my money until
No.
they own the world. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's
Adrian's leading the revolution.
fighting
I'm
it
with
right
I have
now.
CenturyLink, so
Yeah, I do
yeah.
too.
and it's great.
Yeah, $65 a month doesn't seem like a good enough deal.
Is
for me
that
to switch over?
that's the standalone price, or
That is-
'cause,
I
if
think
you
that's
have to be
packaged price. You have to be their customer
What's the
already.
bundle? If that's a bundle amount,
It's an
then-
unlimited data, talk, and text.
And they want to push you to their
And that is-
hotspots,
but
which
yeah,
saves them data.
And
right?
which you already have to be a customer to get that right now. They think eventually it's going to open up to other people, but it's going to be restricted to just those people. For
Isn't
right
Verizon putting out like a $45 or $50 unlimited talk
Yeah.
and text?
Yep.
Why would I pay $15 more for crappier customer service?
now. Verizon,
Right.
AT&T,
Verizon's not that
T-Mobile,
great,
and
but-
No,
Sprint
it's not.
are
I think-
offering $50 a month lines.
I think Comcast is. First of all, I think it's odd that Comcast and Verizon have any kind of arrangement
I thought that
going
weird
on
too.
at all.
Which is strange.
Comcast could be saying, what we're going to do is we're going to basically save you a bunch of bandwidth. We're going to free up your lines by getting all these customers on to hotspots instead of. So we're still going to be paying you, to the lease fee for the lines, but we're going to get people off of your actual cell service, and we're going to get them on a hotspot so that more people are doing their calls through Wi-Fi instead of over-the-air bandwidth. And yeah, maybe Verizon stands to benefit in some way or another, but I mean, Verizon's getting hardcore into media too. I mean, they are increasingly becoming the opposite of Comcast, like the direct competitor in so many different ways. I just think it's weird from a corporate level that they're getting in bed together at all.
Could be their play
I
to
also
like
don't-
throttle service.
Maybe. And that's the other thing is like I don't want these two titans coming together in any way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
that
I
is
definitely
bad
don't
news.
want my phone tied to it
Yeah.
at all. No. I'm so sticking with T-Mobile, not going anywhere close to
I have
this.
Verizon.
So
I have Verizon, too.
despite the high level of customer service, it's not going to be enough. That's what we're.
High level.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Quote,
say
high
anything.
level.
Like I'm going to be a professional baseball player next year.
Also, can we just admit that the fact is Comcast, as big as they are, and however big their customer service centers must be, including the outsourced, stuff that goes to other countries, like they're clearly incapable of handling the sheer numbers of people that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
And if there's ever a spike or a problem, I mean, it just absolutely it freezes them. It paralyzes them. They can't deal with that many people, and I don't think that Comcast should be looking for another way to get people into the fold. Like they can't handle what they've got. Why should they take on more?
Desperate.
Well, they are doing it because they want your money. That's the bottom line. Like, they
Well,
want
they are
your money.
doing it.
They
No
will
way
take
around it.
anything.
This is happening to you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there we go. So Comcast getting into the mobile service game. So Xfinity Mobile coming out soon. Let us know what you think about that. All right, continuing on. We've got a couple of stories left here before we wrap up for the day. The next one, this is an interesting concept, and it's It's actually out of the Seattle area. It's a company called Zunum Aero. I think that's how you pronounce it. Zunum or Zunum.
Zunum. I said it Zunum in my head when I edited the article.
You said Zunum.
I'm going with that.
Okay, we'll go with Zunum. All right, that's good enough for me. All right, so Zunum Aero's a model is they want to provide more service for all of those tiny airports that are all around the country, because I guess 97% of the U.S. is, according to this, 13,500 U.S. airports aren't really utilized very much.
Tons
at all.
of open space.
Yeah, and most people have to drive a long ways to get to a major airport, and they're talking about how this isn't really any better than it was 50 years ago for transportation, and they want to help solve that by creating 10 to 50 seat aircraft that will be hybrid aircraft, initially to start, with the goal to go completely electric, battery-operated aircraft to take advantage of these small airports.
And just like hop from airport to airport?
Yep.
Huh, that would be kind of cool.
It would all be sort of a region. It would be a regional airline.
Sure.
And they're looking at doing like 700 routes or something like that, which is a good amount. Yeah, and I think the key here, before you dismiss this as another, hey, that's a great idea. Good luck making it happen. And the Boeing is behind them. This is a Kirkland-based company, just Kirkland, Washington, and JetBlue.
JetBlue, which JetBlue is doing a lot in the Northwest here too. I mean, just right now.
JetBlue's doing a ton of stuff. I have
That's a crazy rendering. There's just like 3 planes within like
really close
super
to
close
each
to
other. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, right.
That is something to be concerned with, though, because it's going to be. I mean, I guess we'll have to probably beef up a lot of traffic control situations, but I mean that's going to be a lot more little airplanes flying all over the place. Combine that with drones. It's going to be some busy skyways.
They just have an algorithm to like flight patterns and all that.
I'm not so much worried about the air traffic. I think it'll be fine. That's just a stupid rendering because it puts the wrong idea in your mind.
But they just want all the angles.
Yeah, right. Check out all these planes. But you could hop from Hillsborough to Eugene in like 15 minutes.
Well, and especially if they're killing train service, this is going to be
right.
Train service is killing itself.
Yeah,
by
that
the way. But no, I mean, look at Allegiant Airlines. They offer really inexpensive fares. If you're able to get down to Salem or Eugene, and they happen to have a destination you want to go to, they're a great option. The problem is they don't have that many destinations. They don't have the infiltration they need to. So I would love to see these guys succeed. I think it would be awesome. I would love to see air travel completely and totally transformed by a disruption, because right now it is not good.
And the planes that they use for small commuters right now are just awful. I have a friend in Arizona who flies to reservations for, she's an audiologist, and they're not pressurized. They're super old. She's flying like all over the place every week, and this would just bring medical service to people much better, much more successfully.
Yeah, and efficiently too.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the other thing. This is cleaner.
Efficient.
And this is not pie in the sky technology. They have aircraft that they are about ready to deploy, and it's going to be faster and it's going to be cheaper. Who doesn't want all three of those things?
It's all good. I mean, I grew up in a really small town. This would have been really cool just to go straight into like the little town and hop up to Portland or wherever you are.
Yeah, there's even like an airstrip in like Astoria out of the coast. You can get from there to Eugene if you wanted to, there to Portland or whatever. So.
Well, hopefully, I mean, with that kind of backing, Boeing and JetBlue, I would think. Yeah, this is a real thing that we're going to see happen.
And we may see it first then if they're taking the charge.
Yeah, no, I think I think the
with
Pacific
Verizon.
Northwest is definitely their first market. This is where it gets tested out.
We're also way more spread out than the East Coast is too.
Yep.
You can drive around a lot more if you're in like New York and get to either.
There's
Philly,
more
Boston,
need
whatever.
for it,
Right.
exactly,
Right.
because on the East Coast you also have some very good train service going on, and so here we don't. We just don't have any of that. Poor Amtrak. Get out of here.
Expensive too. I like riding the train, but
Yeah, I do too. I actually enjoy it. Well, anyway, there we go. So that's Zunum. We'll say it's pronounced Zunum Aero. So you can read all
is it
about
a Z or an
that.
X?
With a Z.
Okay.
Yeah, at digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at all that. All right, the last thing.
XUM?
Zunum
That's a
question.
important-
It's important.
That's a good.
Somebody
that's a good
looking it up.
question. Yeah. All right, the last thing we have here, and this actually is another. I didn't intentionally do all Northwest stuff, but this is actually coming from a Northwest school.
Northwest is
Yes, we
best.
did.
From Oregon State. I believe a couple of us in here went to Oregon State.
Does it have to do with tidal energy?
No.
Okay.
It actually doesn't. Or maraschino cherries. There's nothing that.
or kale that tastes like bacon.
Yes,
Oregon
that
State
too.
did that too. And well, I'll leave that. That's an NSFW one, but they did some other stuff.
They did. Well, now engineers at Oregon State University are working on essentially another smart contact lens. And so we've seen some patents come out from Google. Samsung, I think, has one for enhanced contact lenses. I think Google's is essentially you would end up having like a Google Glass only in your contact lens. This one's going on a more of a biological sense of it in that it's a contact lens that you would wear that would track drug use, blood glucose levels, and even detect early signs of cancer. So it'll be scanning your body as it's in there.
Like,
Like
why
a
is the
Fitbit
football
for
team
your
so
eye?
bad?
Science will never know.
Dude, you want to smoke this joint? Hold on, man. I got to take my contacts out. That sounds
know.
terrible.
Maybe
Coaches
that would
wearing
help.
the bionic things. Yeah,
Maybe that would help the
Guys,
football team. But yeah, it's an interesting concept, and it's from their chemical engineers who are actually working on this. And so their transistors would be transparent, obviously, in order to see. But it's a really cool concept as far as whether this comes to fruition. Because if you combine this with something like Google Glass or Samsung, basically the government can know everything about you, but also it would be kind of cool just to have a medical diagnosis. Like all of a sudden something shows up, something's wrong with you.
The latter
And,
ones were good, like the glucose levels and the cancer thing. That's a cool.
Yeah.
The drug one, I don't know.
I don't know if I.
Yes.
Well, no. I mean, let's not
You know
assume
somebody
that it's
slipped you
for
something.
nefarious
Right.
stuff.
That's very
Let's
true.
say
I
that you're on a regimen of medication that you're supposed
Sure.
to take.
I think it's
and maybe
diabetics
and you're
is what they're
forgetting to take it.
targeting.
And you can get reminded, hey, you really need to take your Valtrex. I brought that up last week. I don't
did.
know why.
It's a couple of
just
times.
stuck in my head. But I mean,
I'll put together
we
a
aren't
quick take
sponsored.
of
I
all of
am
your
honestly,
Valtrex.
I'm terrible at taking medications. Like if I have to get on an antibiotic and you're supposed to take it every 4 hours or every 8 hours, and if you miss it, then the effectiveness goes down.
Right.
I could really use that reminder. And yes, you can use Siri and blah blah blah. But I think it would be really cool to have
flashes
like
up on your.
your
eyesight.
just some kind of reminder that's
Shocks you.
biologically based. You know what I mean?
My eye.
There's something in my eye.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool advancement of that technology, especially because I have some friends that are diabetic and they do forget sometimes, and so that would be great if they had a reminder that's just directly in there.
their
Although
body.
Is that a concept
Yeah.
or like actually something that they've tested?
it's actually something. Let's see where they're at in the phase right now. They're still in the early stages, so it's difficult to say how long it'll be before they are available commercially. But we've talked to a couple of companies and are hoping to work with them to accelerate the technology. So it's enough to where they're
Okay.
talking
Like
to
getting
companies.
Sounds
ready
like
for
a lot of
manufacturing.
hope and dreams.
I mean, it's Oregon State. I trust them. That
Yeah.
They'll have it come out. They made
I mean,
cherries.
the campus is
All right.
lovely in the springtime.
it really is. All right, well, there we go. So there's the news on that, and you can read all about that at digitaltrends.com, and plus the stories about Google's and Samsung's patent requests for bionic contact lenses. All that information is on there as well. I think that's about it for today. Okay, did we come up with a radio handle?
Best customer service.
Best customers? Oh, I don't know.
We're gonna have to work
I don't
on
know. We'll
that.
have to work on
Work on
that.
it.
Never mind. You don't get to choose your own. That was it. Okay.
Whiskey Mist, Pornhub 26. Yeah, there's
Yeah, Rick, we got to work on yours too.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe if you have a suggestion for better radio handles for everybody on here, write those in. You can send us an email
I can
podcast
only imagine
at Digital
what the
Trends.
concepts are going to say.
or leave a
Or
comment
don't.
on these posts on Facebook or YouTube. We're live every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific for this podcast. And thanks so much, everybody, for joining in. You can subscribe to the audio version on iTunes and Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Send in suggestions, whatever. If you have a topic that you think maybe we should cover next week, let us know about that. We do have another podcast tomorrow called Between the Streams. That'll be live at 2 p.m. talking about movies and television. So be sure to tune into that. Thanks so much, everybody. We're back next week with another episode. The Whiskey Myth.